Good morning. Day 8. Cruising along, got up a bit early, trying to beat the heat. So I'm just on the easy cruise down the river for 6 miles before I start heading up the big 2,000 foot climb. But so far the plan's working. It's pretty cool, making good pace, and maybe I can make it up half the climb before it really starts heating up. So funny. So in the middle of videoing that, all of a sudden 2 Sobos are coming the other way. That's the trail coincidences for you. Anyway, yeah, I was talking about planning, and that's I think a lot of the appeal to the trail for me is every minute you have something to think about. Where am I going to get my next water? Where's the next campsite? How should I plan out my supplies? How many dinners do I need? What about my gas situation? So then, that's giving you these like long periods of time, like 12 hours a day, when you're basically have nothing to think about. I know modern kids listen to books on tape on their iPods and so on, but I don't do that. It lets your mind still be active, even though, you'd think this is just kind of a space out experiential kind of thing, which there is a lot of, but it kind of appeals to both sides of your mind. And the nice thing is you think about completely different things because you're completely cut off from the outside world. So you can't think about the stock market or what's going on in Beirut or anything like that. It's kind of a self-contained bubble. Nice little water crossing right before the big climb. Somehow, as a solo hiker, I don't think I would try crossing on that log. So we're seeing groves of aspen trees here. So a little different than the typical pine forest, although there's not very much aspen. It's mostly pine. Okay, starting the long climb. Took a little bit of a wrong turn for 0.2 of a mile, but I don't think I lost more than 10 or 15 minutes. Very faint tread where the CDT cut off. And I guess I should have read the gut hook because there's a big exclamation point next to the trail junction, because I guess I'm not the only one who's done this. All right, into the forest. The sun it's a little hazy, so the sun's not too direct. So I'm grateful. Top of a small saddle, about halfway up the climb. So we're going to be heading that way, straight up. So that's the valley we just climbed up from. Basically, we started way down there, and then went up this thing, and then behind there, and that's the saddle. Yeah, we're finally in the high alpine. And now we'll be walking above tree line for a while, following that bridge along there. You can pretty much see where the trail's gonna go. Top. Now we're cruising down to what's supposed to be a muddy little spring where hopefully it'll have enough water for lunch. You can see we're just like walking above tree line. Coming down into this meadow that hopefully has a water source. Oh, and I think this might be it. So yes. That is my water source. Excellent. That's a pretty good trickle. Ooh-wee. Climbing up to the top of this ridge, and then I think we're gonna go over by that mountain there. All right, well, I'm on top of this great ridge. Just got paged on my inReach. My wife's telling me the refrigerator is broken and my kid is sick. So, not sure if having this technology is a positive thing, because I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do about any of that, but good to know, I guess, although it's kind of taken me out of my moment and refocused me back on the real world. Anyway, we're about to climb up to the path that takes you over to a lake where these guys I met climbing up are going to scatter the ashes of their father. So you can see, trail's going to go up there, climb up to there. Getting to the top, and here's the trail going to the path. Bighorn Lake. This is where the guy I met is going to spread his father's ashes. So we're on the ridge above it. And we're climbing up the trail there. And then we're going to go on the inside of that thing and over that. Bighorn Lake. Alright. And then we're going to follow this path and then duck down below there. Alright, so it's 3:30. The lake I was planning to get water and cook dinner and then start hiking up to the ridge from is completely dry. So thank God I loaded up all my stuff at the last spring, but I've only got about 2 liters of water. And the next water source is 12.5 miles away. So it's 3:30. That would get me in around 9 or so. If I go 2 miles an hour, which it's 5 uphill, so who knows. So I guess I'll just keep walking. Worst case, I'll dry camp in the evening and skip dinner. But looks like this adventure. I got a lot of climbing. The good news is a lot of cloud cover, so it's not that hot. Epic part of the ridge walk. We're going to go right up the top of that thing and just keep going. Trail heading up. It's hot and dusty. So it's around 5:30. Walking on the ridge walk, but of course it's so hazy that the views are tough to really enjoy. Plus it's smoky. I've run into 2 parties today along here. One was a German couple who had hiked the whole thing. They must be flying. They're ready to be done. They're trying to do the whole bob in 6 days. And another gentleman who started in Butte, had hiked the rest of it earlier and is now finishing up. So almost everyone I'm meeting is basically section hiking or hiking the whole thing. So good times. Continuing our high altitude ridge walk. I've been assured that the spring I'm trying to get to does exist, so hopefully tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on when darkness hits and so on. Of course, it's hard to think about anything but water when you're limited on it, but I'm trying to stay in the moment, enjoy the walk. Let me show you what's in front. So this is what it's like. It'll just go over that knob, keep going down the ridges like that. All right, so now the irony is it's raining. Well, it's drizzling anyway. So it's kind of nice. I think it might cool things down a little bit, cut down on the dust. Not enough to help me with the drinking water problem, but I think we're doing fine. We're moving pretty fast. So, fortunately, it's gotten dark and hazy, so there are no views. But we're trying to keep it up. I think I've got like 1 bottle and 1/2 bottle left. So, pacing. 7 o'clock, taking a little break. You can see it's going to dip down, and then beyond that ridge is Lewis and Clark Pass. So that's kind of the next point to look for. All right, made it to Lewis and Clark Pass. 2.2 miles to water. Doing a 7,000-foot climb. It's 9 o'clock at night, so the light's fading. It's raining, and there's 40-hour wind gusts, so I can barely stand up straight. He's throwing a final hurrah at me. Night hiking on the CDT. Finally heading downhill. Spring should be in about a half mile or so. All right, sitting in a tent in the rain. Started pouring rain. As I mentioned, the wind was blowing like 40 miles an hour on the ridge. Finally got dark right when I was coming down. So the only way I could really figure out where the spring was, I mean, I could kind of tell, but GPS helped a lot because I knew when I was near it. So it was dribbling. I had to like pull my pot and dip because it was like 2 inches deep to fill up my bladder. Do that twice in the dark. And then I stumbled down here where I read on Gut Hook that there was like an old abandoned road that might make tent sites. So that's where I popped up in the dark, set up in the dark. So now I'm sitting here in the rain at 10:30 eating my Mountain House lasagna. So could have been worse. Everything's soaked, my rain gear, my socks, etc. But I'm only 5 miles from the road, so worst case I just put on everything wet tomorrow in the morning and dry out in Lincoln, which is pretty good timing.